Ladies and gentlemen, there is a silent epidemic in our world, not of sickness, but of surrender. People walking around with hearts that no longer beat for anything, dreams buried in the name of failure, souls shut down in the face of betrayal, people breathing, but not alive pain. The one thing we all wish we could avoid, yet the one thing that reminds us we're still alive. Think about that for a second. You feel pain because your heart still beats. You cry because something inside you still cares. You break because something within you still believes it's worth holding on. Pain is not your enemy. It's a signal. It's life tugging at your sleeve saying, hey, don't go numb on me yet. There's still something here worth fighting for. When we stop feeling, when we suppress and silence every hurt, we begin to fade, not physically, but emotionally, spiritually, purposefully. Have you ever seen someone who has died before their death? They walk with heavy shoulders, empty eyes, and hollow laughter. You ask them how they are, and they say, fine, but everything about them screams I've given up. That's what happens when pain is buried instead of processed. That's what happens when people believe that hurting is a sign of weakness. But the truth is, hurting is a sign you're human. If you feel broken today, that's okay. You are not failing. You are functioning. You are navigating a world that sometimes does. So many people today are existing, but not truly living. They wake up, check their phones, drag themselves out of bed, go through the motions of their day, smile at the right people, say the right things, and go to sleep feeling nothing but emptiness. And then they do it all again. This is the silent death no one talks about, living on autopilot. You see, autopilot living feels safe, predictable, comfortable. But comfort is often the enemy of purpose. Because when you're on autopilot, you're not awake, you're not choosing, you're not questioning, you're not. Fear doesn't always scream at you. It often whispers. It disguises itself as logic, caution, and a just being realistic. It tells you that you're not ready, that you're not smart enough, that if you try, you'll fail, that if you speak up, you'll be judged, that if you leave, you'll be alone. And the more you listen, the smaller your world becomes. You see, fear isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle and convincing. It doesn't just block your path. It builds invisible walls around your potential. It keeps you trapped in jobs you hate, relationships that drain you, routines that numb you, and beliefs that limit you. Not because you can't move forward, but because you've convinced yourself you shouldn't. Fear has one mission, to keep you where you are. It thrives in comfort zones. It feeds on uncertainty. It loves when you settle. And the tragedy is, most people don't even recognize it. They think they're being careful. They think they're being practical. But in reality, they're shrinking. Shush! Less? How many times have you held back from something you wanted because of what might go wrong? How many times have you silenced yourself in rooms where your voice could have changed everything? How many times have you looked at your dreams, your gifts, your calling, and said, Hadi, not now, maybe later. I'm not enough? That's fear talking. That's the liar convincing you that comfort is safer than calling, that predictability is better than potential. But here's what fear doesn't tell you. Regret screams louder than failure. Regret lives longer than rejection. And the pain of staying stuck will always outweigh the discomfort of trying. Every person you admire, every leader, creator, visionary, faced fear. But they didn't let it decide for them. They felt it and still moved forward. That's what courage is. It's not the absence of fear, it's the refusal to obey it. You don't conquer fear by waiting for it to disappear. You conquer fear by acting in spite of it, by doing the thing anyway, by showing up shaky but showing up nonetheless, by rewriting the story in your head that says you're not enough. Because here's the truth. You are more powerful than fear, but only if you stop listening to it. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't get to hold a pen anymore. It doesn't get to write your next chapter. We all have a past. Some of it is beautiful, full of joy, laughter, and triumph. But other parts, not so much. The regrets, the betrayals, the mistakes we wish we could undo, the moments we felt broken beyond repair, and too often, people carry those moments like a permanent label on their identity. But your past is not your prison. It is not your final sentence. It is not the whole book. It's just a chapter. Yes, maybe you trusted the wrong people. Maybe you failed when everything was on the line. Maybe you broke something precious or lost something that can't be replaced. But that does not mean your story ends there. That doesn't define you. It shaped you, but it didn't finish you. What defines you is what you do now with what you've been through, because there is no growth without pain, no wisdom without mistakes, no depth without darkness. Your past may be messy, complicated, even painful, but it also contains lessons, strength, and resilience you couldn't have gained any other way. Too many people walk around stuck in guilt, shame, or nostalgia, reliving the same emotional loops over and over. They say things like, if I hadn't done that, or if only I could go back. But you can't, and you don't need to. You're not here to rewind, you're here to rewrite. You're not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become despite it. Stop letting an old version of yourself make decisions for your future. You don't owe loyalty to your past, especially when it no longer reflects your vision, your growth, your values. People will try to remind you of who you were. They'll bring up your past because they haven't updated their image of you. Let them talk. What matters is who you see when you look in the mirror. Is it someone trying? Someone learning? Someone becoming? Then you're already winning. Every sunrise is proof that the story isn't over. Every breath you take is a fresh page. What you do today is far more powerful than what you did yesterday, because you can't change the beginning, but you can shape the ending. And that power lies in your hands. So don't live as a prisoner of your past. Use it. Learn from it. Build something stronger because of it. But never let it convince you that you've already reached your limit. You haven't, not even. Inside every person, there is a fire, a spark, a light. It's not always big. It doesn't always roar. But it's there. It's the part of you that dares to dream when life tells you to be realistic. It's the part that wants more meaning, more impact, more aliveness. That fire is your passion, your energy, your soul speaking in flames. And the truth is, the world will try to put it out. Not always intentionally. Sometimes the people closest to you, friends, family, even teachers, will say things like, be careful, or that's not practical, or people will leave. That's one of the hardest truths of life. Sometimes it's gradual, like distance growing over time. Sometimes it's sudden, without warning, without closure, without reason. People you gave your heart to, people you trusted, people you thought would. There is a kind of fatigue that sleep doesn't cure, a kind of heaviness that food, vacations, and distractions can't lift. It's not physical, it's soul deep. It's what happens when you live without purpose. You see, life without purpose feels hollow. You could be surrounded by people, but feel completely alone. You could be financially secure, socially active, externally successful, and still wake up every morning wondering, what's the point? That's not because your life is meaningless. It's because you haven't connected to your meaning yet. Purpose isn't about titles. It's not about how many followers you have or how many boxes you check off society's list. It's about knowing why you're here, why you wake up, why you endure pain, why you keep going when everything inside you says stop. When you have purpose, you can go through hell and still hold your head high. Purpose doesn't remove the struggle, but it gives it meaning. It turns pain into fuel. It turns wounds into wisdom. It transforms obstacles into opportunities to grow. Without purpose, life feels like a loop. You get stuck in routines that numb your soul. You start to measure your worth by productivity, by approval, by how well you fit into other people's expectations. But purpose cuts through all of that. It reminds you that you are not here to blend in. You are here to build, to become, to make impact. Purpose is the thing that wakes you up when you want to quit. It's the whisper that says, there's more for you. Don't stop now. It's the inner fire that can't be extinguished by failure, loneliness, or even heartbreak. You could lose everything and still stand because you're grounded in something bigger than yourself. And purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's not about being known. It's about being true. Maybe your purpose is to raise a kind child. Maybe it's to create, to teach, to heal, to serve, to lead, to inspire. Maybe your purpose is simply to live with integrity in a world that celebrates the fake. Whatever it is, you don't need to shout it. You just need to live it. Purpose doesn't ask you to be perfect. It asks you to be aligned. To live in a way that honors who you are, even if no one applauds. It asks you to do hard things, not for praise, but because it matters. It asks you to keep going. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. If you're feeling lost, stuck, or uninspired, don't look for more distractions. Look for direction. Ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? What breaks my heart that I can help fix? What gift do I carry that the world needs? When you find your purpose, or even a glimpse of it, everything starts to shift. You move differently. You speak with conviction. You wake up with energy, not because life got easier, but because it finally feels like it's you. There's a big difference between surviving and living, and far too many people confuse the two. Survival is doing what you must. Living is doing what you love. Survival is waking up to obligations. Living is waking up to purpose. Survival is about existing, getting by, checking boxes. Living is about feeling, risking, growing, and being fully present. Let's be honest, most people are surviving. They've mastered the art of getting through. They know how to suppress emotions, wear masks, go through the motions, and pretend they're okay when inside they're not even close. They've learned how to function without fulfillment, and over time they convince themselves that's all life has to offer. But that's not life. That's a slow form of dying. You weren't created just to survive Monday through Friday and escape into distractions on weekends. You weren't designed to spend years in silent desperation, holding in your voice your dreams, your desires, just to keep things safe and stable. Because what's the point of reaching the end of your life having only endured? We celebrate people for being strong, for pushing through, for staying silent, for putting others first. But we rarely ask at what cost. Strength without soul is emptiness. Endurance without joy is exhaustion. And silence without peace is suffering. You can master survival. You can function in toxic environments. You can smile when you're breaking inside. You can show up for everyone else while neglecting yourself completely. But that's not living. That's just learning how to exist in a life you were never meant to settle for. Living means making space for joy, not just productivity. Living means taking risks, not just playing it safe. Living means crying when you need to, laughing loudly, failing boldly, and choosing authenticity over approval. Living means letting go of what suffocates you, even if it's familiar. It means choosing to chase what sets your soul on fire, even if no one claps for it. And sometimes, living means slowing down enough to hear your own heartbeat. It means asking, what do I need today? Not just to survive, but to feel alive. It might mean saying no to things you once tolerated. It might mean unlearning everything you were taught about success. It might mean walking away from everything you thought made you secure. because you finally realize that peace is more valuable than comfort. True living is rebellious in a world obsessed with performance. It's powerful in a culture addicted to appearance. It's sacred in a time when people feel unseen, unheard, and unloved. Choosing to live fully, freely, unapologetically is one of the most courageous acts there is. So if you're tired, burned out, numb, it doesn't mean you're broken. It might just mean you've been stuck in survival mode too long. And now it's time to remember what living feels like again. Regret is a heavy burden, and the most painful kind doesn't come from the mistakes you made, but from the chances you never took. It's not the failure that haunts you, it's the silence when you should have spoken. The idea you never acted on, the love you never expressed, the life you never truly lived. You see, one day your time will run out. And when that day comes, the things that matter won't be your achievements, your status, or your possessions. It won't be how many people followed you, praised you, or feared you. It'll be whether you showed up as the person you were truly meant to be before the fear, the judgment, the pressure, and the past convinced you to play small. Too many people live as though they have forever. They put their dreams on the shelf, waiting for the right time. They bury their voices to keep the peace. They stay in comfort zones that feel safe but slowly poison their spirit. And one day they look back and realize they were alive for decades, but they never truly lived. Don't be one of them. Don't let your life become a museum of what-ifs. Don't be the person who had the talent but never used it. The person who had love to give but never shared it. The person who had visions, songs, books, inventions, kindness, strength, but kept it all inside, waiting for permission to let it out. The truth is, time doesn't ask if you're ready. Opportunities don't wait until you feel confident. Life doesn't pause so you can catch your breath. If you don't move now, you might not get the chance later. And the worst pain isn't the pain of falling. It's the pain of never leaping. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Say how you feel before it's too late. Apologize when your pride wants to stay quiet. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Try the thing that scares you. Take the path that calls you. Be messy. Be vulnerable. Be real. Because regret isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. It stays with you in the silence. It echoes in the spaces where dreams used to live. It visits you in moments of stillness, asking, why didn't you? But here's the good news. You're not at the end yet. You're still here. Which means regret doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the fire that fuels your next chapter. You can still speak, still change, still begin again. You can turn every what is into a did. So don't wait for the wake-up call that comes too late. Don't wait until you're lying in a hospital bed or sitting in a room full of memories, wishing you had done life differently. You are here now, and now is your chance to live so fully, so honestly, so unapologetically, that when death finally comes, it finds nothing left to take. So here you are, still breathing, still standing, still holding the pen to your own story, and that alone is enough reason to hope. You may have been bruised, forgotten, underestimated, or pushed aside, but you're still here, which means the fire inside you didn't die. Maybe it flickered, maybe got buried under pain or silence, but it never went out. And now is the time to reignite it. Don't wait for some perfect moment. Don't wait for approval, applause, or certainty. Life is happening right now, not someday. This breath, this moment, it's all you're promised. And if you don't claim it, someone else will define it for you. So speak your truth. Risk your heart. Break your own patterns. Heal what hurt you. Forgive what tried to break you. Love boldly. Love deeply. Cry loudly. Be fully alive, because you are not here to simply exist. You are not here to pass time, to blend in, or to be forgotten. You are here to live with purpose, with passion, with power. Don't die before your death. And when the real end comes, let it find you empty, poured out, worn out and proud, knowing you left nothing